Okay, this model kit review is of an Airfix model, and it's a 1/72nd scale Curtiss Tomahawk, and this is the Mk.IIB. Looks like it has the British markings from World War II, and there's some details here about the plane, and on the back we have our markings and paint guide, so we can see where our decals are going to go, and this is where the pilot was from, and he flew in the Royal Air Force in Egypt in 1941. So let's have a look inside. Obviously this is a 1/72nd scale model kit, so it is a little smaller than the 1/48 scale. Let's have a look at our sprues here. So first of all, here we have our canopy and the side glass, and it's quite nicely molded. For some reason it looks like we have two holes in the side there, and those might be the ejector pins. That's unfortunate. Okay, and then we have two sprues. So these two sprues here, we've got our fuselage halves with actually recessed panel and rivet lines. Quite nice. Good level of detail there. And some details there for the inside of the cockpit. And then over here we have our, looks like probably our tail wheel, our main gear. And this is probably the tail wheel well covers, and we've got our rudder and our main gear with wheels and our spinner. Not sure what these parts are for. And these are the insides of the wheels. We've got our air intake. There's our 3-bladed propeller with our stabilizer elevator, some pitot tubes, and that looks like that's our cockpit, and the seat will probably go on there. Over here we have the wings, and nice little detail there with recessed lines. There's the top of the wings there. Some detail there for not really much for our wheel wells. Here are the other sides of the wheels and our exhausts, which need to be drilled out. And we've got our control stick. Here's our pilot, and there's our seat. Looks like these are the guns and the front of the engine cover. That's probably part of the cockpit. Let's have a look over here. So here are some details about the plane and the dimensions of the model. Let's have a look inside. So obviously not a huge amount of detail here. You can always add detail here for the cockpit, but we start off with the fuselage. Then we have the propeller and spinner that gets mounted inside. Next we have the cockpit being built. And you can cut those holes out if you want to put it on a stand. Now that's our instrument panel, that's what that piece is. Next our wings go on with the fuselage. And our radiator, you can have it, the air can be open or closed. Next we put on the air intake and the engine cowl cover. Got some details here for so those are our wheel well covers there, and they show you how they're supposed to look, and that's if you want to have the wheels up. And then the tail and elevator. We've got our landing gear there, and tail gear, wheels going on, and looks like the headrest there, then the glass going on, as well as our exhaust pipes, pitot tube, and pilot if you want him, and then our little glass light. So let's have a look at our decals here. Actually, we've got quite a few decals here, and they look like they're in pretty reasonably printed. So that's actually very nice. So obviously it's a smaller kit, so not a huge amount of detail, but it's fairly well molded, and that's going to be a great build.